Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to my vlog for the week of March 6th. This has been a busy week pulled in various different directions. For the weather got bad, and so we couldn't do Holi as we had planned, but we did some color inside the house, which was really not how Holi is played, but it was freezing outside, so we just had to adapt. And so let's. This has been a week of a lot of organization, packing for workshops, preparing, and then it's getting near tax season, so going over the accounting for the last year, all the tasks that come with living and running a miniature business. We celebrate our Bengali New Year starting mid-April. So it kind of, in that cycle, the rhythm that's still inside my system where, gearing up for that cleaning up, decluttering the house, organization, donation, all of those things I was planning to do, but something happened this week that kind of put more pressure, time pressure to that process. So before I get into all of that, let's start with the creativity stuff. So this was my sketchbook. I started it don't know if I have a date. Yeah, started in January, and it's got done. This has not been the kind of sketchbook I kept last year, where I tried to dedicate a whole sketchbook. Like these sketchbooks, they have 30 pages, which makes it just right for a month of sketching. But this year, it's not unfolding in that manner. So what I used to do in my notebooks, I started doing in my sketchbook, and there are lots of ideas and stuff that are here that are not finished sketches, but they are certainly a documentation of the creative process. And I finished one of those, and then I started this one last Sunday, March 5th. I took my youngest to a play date, and her friend has a big house and they have an indoor pool. So the girls went into the pool, and while I sat and watched them, because her friend has younger siblings and older siblings, so the mom was busy trying to help her son do his science fair project. And I remember how I used to have to push my son to do his science fair projects when he was in middle school. And so I said, I'm just going to sit there and I'll watch the girls, just a supervision. So they were playing, and while they were playing, I was sketching their goggles, all the little different kinds of pool toys, and they have so many pool toys out there. So there was a lot to draw in between, telling the girls to be careful, to not run on the side of the pool and all that, all those. So let's see how this goes. And obviously I don't get very many chances to draw on location, or if I do go on location, the locations are usually quite the same almost every time. Not that there isn't a lot of different things to draw in those locations, but it is usually when I'm waiting for my daughter, to pick up my daughter, when I am at work, and just pretty much not too many novel scenarios. I don't get the opportunity to go and see new and different vistas every time I choose to sketch. But, we make the best of what is available, and that is what I'm doing. And I started doing this. It's just, I got this item. It's like a wood round that I got, and and I wanted to color that and do a design that I have watched my mom, my grandmoms, do effortlessly. And it is taking me quite a bit of time because this is very new to me. I am not somebody who necessarily enjoys doing symmetrical designs. So what they can do would be like almost a perfect mirror image of the two. My swans are not going to be, and that is a conscious choice that I do not like perfectly symmetrical things, and I find it even harder to replicate. It's just a matter of patience, like to take a compass, draw circles to make things fit. That's just not who I am creatively at this moment, and I don't think I ever have been. So whatever way it is, it has been quite a meditative thing, and the more I do, the easier the marks become for me. Like, I can tell when I started doing some of these things, in the beginning it was quite labored trying to, follow the line and making up the line really as I go. But as I kept finishing little bits and pieces, it gets easier. Just like anything else, with practice it gets a little easier. And it is an extremely meditative form of art, as I'm finding. It just, I can get lost in it, and sometimes I'm thinking that I might end up doing more than I would like, but I have not reached the stage of expertise where I can tell, like, for the overall beauty of the thing, it is good to stop now. Like, I am not able to see the bigger picture in this form of art just yet. So for me, it is still, I am focused on the detail, and that is my general nature also, to get more caught up in the detail and sometimes not be able to see the overall picture. And that is something that is a characteristic I have, that kind of also, I don't want to say interferes, but influences my art. Like last month when I was taking those classes and I was talking about the envelope, creating that envelope, seeing not the details of the horse, but an overall shape. I'm not able to see that shape. And that is, I suppose, that is something that would take a lot more practice than I have given it. But this is something I tried this week, and I don't know why I felt so pulled to doing it. Maybe, I was doing all those Rangolis for Holi, and I made a blog post, I think I mentioned before, and the blog post link, I'm going to leave it in the description box below. Just doing that kind of art kind of reawakened that interest. It's like that memory got rekindled, and I feel drawn to doing things like that I do not usually do. So I have devoted enough time to it. It's a tiny piece of art. It's barely 7 inches wide, but it is taking a long time. Ongoing. I'm doing it with black acrylic paint and paintbrush, but one can do it with a brush pen also. But whenever I need to want my brush to yield more, I prefer a paintbrush than a soft brush marker. I prefer the brush that would yield all the way to my will. So that is where that stands, and I'm in no rush to finish this, but just something new for me. Not new as in I have never seen this before, but to revisit it in a manner that I haven't done personally, really. So yeah, let's see how this ends up, and then we will see how to take this design and probably put it on that round, the wood round that I have, and see what it looks like. So enough about that, and So this brings me to my creativity tracker for the week. My March is very full. Since the last time I made entries, I have like entries have multiplied. So I have to still fill those in so I can keep track. And I just had up till this much. Then one thing I realized, I encourage my children to meditate. I like to meditate. But the truth is, I don't meditate as often as I like to believe that I do. So, even if it is just for 5 minutes, it's not something I actually do. I feel like I want to do. I recommend doing, but in practice, I haven't been doing that. So I wanted to see like when I'm making this kind of bullet journal, the focus is on what it is I want to work on. Focus is to bring me back to some kind of an accountability where I can see a visible sign of, how should I put it, of discipline, that I did show up, I did do it. So one of the things is a meditation tracker. So I just had enough space and I felt like, what, maybe in some way, subconsciously, I had left that space so I could build this meditation tracker up here. So yeah, when I started marking, I realized that no, actually out of the last 11 days of this month, I have only meditated on 4 occasions. And that's not quite the same as meditating daily, which is what I often say that I do. And sometimes it's like daily is, how daily is it? Like, how am I defining my daily? And it may sound ridiculous, but a lot of the times there is a gap between what I want to do and what I'm actually ending up doing. So just a nudge to being a little more conscious. And it may not always be possible. And yes, keeping room for that, and still just to have a visual. Like, how many days did I do it? Better than 0. 4 is better than 0. But, 4 is not as good as 12. So yeah, keeping that. And as I do creativity tracker for this week, I haven't meditated today, so I'm not going up to that. But creativity tracker, yes, I did something every single day. Probably not on the 10th, because a lot happened on the 10th that left a lot to be digested, sort of. And yeah, so a little bit about that. And this is, going into a little bit personal health information. And that is, as I mentioned, like on the 3rd of March, I went for what was supposed to be a routine MRI. And the routine MRI had findings, which was communicated to me on Monday, the 6th. And immediately an ultrasound was scheduled for the 10th of March. And I went in. It was supposed to be, we want to do some ultrasounds to see, do our findings match up with the MRI findings? And they did. So what that means is, what is the next step? So now I have a biopsy scheduled for the 17th, which is this coming Friday. And I have had breast biopsies before in 2018, and they require a little bit of recovering from. So everything that was supposed to be routine for me between 17th and the 26th, which is when my workshop is, I have a workshop on the 20th and one on the 26th. So whatever was pending all of a sudden got a push. And that meant, like, I need a clean sanitary environment to rest in after the biopsy. And once the biopsy findings come in, then we again are going to find out if we are good for now, if more needs to be done. This has been a thing I have been dealing with from about 2004. And I was very young when all of these issues started for me, right after my firstborn. Uh, and it is, you never get used to these things. It is always difficult, and it just requires more planning, so that everything else that is scheduled to be done with other people can still be done to the best of my ability. Of course, if I cannot manage, then I cannot manage, and then I communicate that we have to reschedule or whatever. But I do my best so that I can manage the work that would be harder for me to do during, or like immediately after that, which would be, decluttering, reorganizing, packing for things. So I'm trying to take care of those, which makes this week extremely busy for me. So, like on Friday, I reorganized my closet so that, it would be easier for me to have the clothes ready when I need to go out, that I am not fishing for things, because I'm washing things and sometimes they are not getting put back on hangers and getting back inside the closet. Sometimes they are ending up in a pile on a piece of furniture or on the floor. So yeah, minding those businesses basically. I did that. I had ordered a few shelves for organizing, and they were sitting in their boxes. And so taking them out of the boxes, recycling the boxes, building the shelves, putting the stuff that need to be put in. So the space that I needed to organize or clean up gets done. So yeah, it is creativity on steroids, but it is not necessarily as pleasant as I would love to sit down and draw bunnies. But these are things that need to be done. And obviously, when I am preparing for the biopsy, I have to also prepare for the fact that if the results are positive, I need to be prepared and organized. The doctors are going to do their work, and I have to also take care of my children, and I also have to maintain the house and everything else. So that I am a small business. If I do not show up, then I am forgotten. So, that is just how the nature of it. It sounds a little morbid, but it is what it is. Everybody who is counting on me are considerate, but at the end of the day, if I do not show up, I do not do the work, then the work doesn't get done, because this is not, this is very personally involved business. I make the thing, I market the thing, I sell the thing, and then I take care of the accounting. It's my business. I am the only person handling it. And it is not such a big business that I need to hire somebody to take care of it. But these are things that require preparation, both mental, emotional, as well as physical. So that how do I plan this ahead? How do I need to simplify things? And the organization effort right now is with that intent, to make things simple for myself and my children, so that they can help me when I need, and I can make it easier on myself when I am taking care of them and the house and my work and all that. So given the fact that the next week is biopsy, not next week, the coming Friday, the 17th, is my biopsy, I am not sure if I'll be feeling up to it to film a vlog on the 19th. I usually film my vlogs on Sundays. So yeah, that is something. If I need to take a break, I am going to give myself that break. Other than that, I think that is about all there is to this week. And yeah. So hopefully I will be able to see you next week. If I don't, maybe the week after. At this point, I am not sure how it's all going to unfold, because as it appears, when anytime any of the imaging shows any kind of suspicious things, they want to move on it immediately, which is why we do preventative care anyways. So whatever comes, I have to be prepared. And yeah, hope for the best. Having said that, let me wrap up today's vlog by saying have a great week. And if you are a believer, say a prayer for me on Friday, the 17th of March. And I will see you back as soon as I can. Bye.